Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Steven. This is a bit of an impromptu video today, not one I planned on making in front of the Airstream because of course it involves the Airstream. So come on with me and I'll show you what we're doing. All right, here's the culprit, the Girard instant hot water heater. This thing's been goodish overall. We haven't had any real complaints, just quirks you have to get used to, like when you shower, setting the hot water heater at the temp you want and just leaving it fully on hot, because if you try to mix it, it would shut off. Last camping trip, I hooked up water and I noticed a little bit of water dripping out of here. And so, opened this up obviously, and you can kind of see a little bit of the remainder that was dripping in there. It has some type of leak way back in there. It could be a valve. It looked like it was coming from the core, the heat exchanger core that heats up, you know, with the burners. So, you know what? I don't want to tinker with it. So we're just going to do sort of an impromptu upgrade. I've been following the Truma for a while. I'm more of a DIY type person, and I guess those have to be dealer installed, and plus they're super expensive. And then I found out Fogatti makes an Instashower Ultra. And they make one that should be almost direct fit in here, and it comes with a gray cover. It also comes with like a decorative trim ring, but on an Airstream, at least one of somewhat modern, you don't use it because it'll interfere with these guys. So you just use this piece, swap this guy out. My plan is just to swap this guy out. I think I'm gonna have to change some of the PEX lines, but it's 12 volts. And the nice thing about the Instashower Ultra is it's got a little mixing tank to help prevent that cold water when you're showering and you turn it off and turn it back on, you get that kind of little sandwich of cold water there. So this one's 44 kBTU. I think this is like 66 kBTU, and it has 0.5 gallon per minute minimum. This is 0.9. So I guess one of the quirks with this one that we did notice is you have to have a good bit of water flow for it to actually kick on. So hopefully the Fogatti will be an improvement there, and overall a better performing unit all around. So we'll find out. But first up first, I'm going to take these screws out. We'll see how this comes out, and I'll take you inside and we'll see what kind of modifications we have to do in there. Okay, so on the Globetrotter 27, the water heater is under the bathroom sink behind this little false panel right here, and I find an easy way to get in there is just pop that open. We have gas hookup. This is, well, I should say propane specifically. So that's there, and then we've got, let me see if the light helps a little bit. There's the cold, lower left. Hot's just like a couple inches up from there, and power and remote. I did take the Fogatti out. It looks like the cold is in roughly the same spot. It might be a little higher, more like right about there. But hot on the Fogatti is like way up here. So I'm gonna have to run from that red PEX. I'll just run a new line right about there, and we'll see what we have to do to the cold. Electrical hookup should be super simple. The remote for the Fogatti is just 2 blue wires just like this, so that's good. It means I don't have to run new wiring. I can just use what's there, and then we'll see what's involved with getting the Girard controller off. There is a little indentation right here. If it'll focus, I doubt it, who knows. There's a little indentation there that I think I can pop the cover off. There's one here too. So here and here. Yep, on the other side. Pop this off, get to the screws. If the screw holes don't line up with the Fogatti remote, I'm just gonna sticky tape it. I do that most of the time, and stuff is, double-sided tape now is just so good that I'd much prefer doing that to putting new screw holes in anyway. So if they line up, I'll use them. Otherwise, sticky tape it is. Long time ago, if you watch my videos, you'll know I put this thermostat on with sticky tape. It has never moved. It's been awesome. So, had good luck with it. And that way you're not putting holes in, because you never know. Down the road you might want to change it to something else, and then you have to deal with covering up holes. So, here we go. All right, so got the hot and cold off of the water heater. Those were just hand tight, so pretty easy to take off of there. There is a valve on the cold water supply right here. I don't know if all of them will have it, and it just comes around and it actually goes straight down to the ground. And I opened that and it relieves let some of the water drain out that way versus all of it draining onto this towel right here. So if you have one of those, open it up. It seems to work pretty well. The other thing I highly recommend is taking a picture of what wires you have hooked up currently. So in this case, the white wire is ground, which is pretty common on the Airstream, but you've got like a pink wire to red, which is 12 volt. And then the signal wire, there's a blue with a black stripe, but there's also this orange with a black stripe that, I don't know, if you weren't paying attention, you could think that's positive 12 volt or hook those up vice versa. So just pay attention to what you have. Obviously it's marked here so you can trace it around, but pretty simple. We'll get these unhooked. These Wagos are super easy. Get the gas line off and then get started on the actual controller. So more to come. Okay, it's out. Just the screws around the sides. Of course, it was put in with these self-tappers, which if you watch my channel, you know I'm not a huge fan. So I took those out by hand. I didn't use a power drill because as you pull these out, if you go crazy, it's like they can strip themselves back out because the self-tapping part comes back out the area that you want to have threads. So came out pretty easy. The only thing you can tend to get hung up on is these little rivets right here, there, and there. Can get hung up on the skin right here. I have seen some where the frame right here is not as aligned with the skin as it should be. Mine looks, you know, it's pretty okay. I'm pretty happy with it. I've seen some where it's like this doesn't even touch the frame. So yeah, not too bad. So I'm just gonna vacuum this out because I'm that kind of person to get some of this debris out that they leave in. Hey, look, there's some of those little screw covers. I was wondering where some of those went. So there's the inside. We'll get this new one in. All right, so I got the new one installed. It's the next day. I actually ran out of light by the time I got it installed. It was a little challenging. It's hard to slide the old one out, a little challenging to slide the old one in, or the new one in. The screw holes line up for the most part. There is a screw hole here on the Fogatti that the Girard didn't have. I didn't bother with it. But other than that, it fits pretty good. I had a little problem with the gasket. I put the gasket all the way inboard, and then that left the screws sort of poking out because the gasket is only about that thick, so you could see the screws. So what I ended up doing was pulling the old gasket off the Girard and just sticking it on the camper and then sandwiching this one in. It's not perfect. I might clean it up a little bit later, but it probably seals better. So that's where we are. I did cut some of the old PEX out from out here. It's a little easier to get in through here. Just make sure you don't cut yourself on those sharp edges when you do it, because you don't want to go to the hospital. That would not be a great day. And I don't really like this latch. I like the old style, and the other Fogattis have like the latches that match the if you look at like I think the Instashower 9 or something, they have latches like this. I think they match a little better, but they went to this version for the Ultra for some reason. I'm guessing something to do with water. I don't know, or maybe how this vent works. But anyway, I like the old latch better, but small thing, no big deal. So inside we go. Okay, on the inside, got the new water heater in. You can see the hot there. The gas is just loosely hooked up, but it's the same thread. Cold water input there, and then the wire harness. In my case, and I'm holding my phone light here, so this hooking up with these existing wires is a little tight, so there's not a lot of extra slack because the wire harness from the old water heater came out like right where the hot water comes in. You can see the two PEX lines ready to go, hot and cold. So cold's going to come down here and it's going to tie in with this drain that's down there. It runs over here with the valve and then shoots down onto the ground. That must be mentioned that earlier, and then obviously the hot's going to come up over here. So that's what we're going to work on. And then I have the power, ground, and remote leads. I still have to work on getting this thing off of here. It's not that easy to snap off of there, so I don't want to screw the screws out, and I think that's, or strip the screws out, and I think that's what's happening here. So gonna figure that one out, but I'm probably gonna start first with the plumbing to get that one out of the way. It's my least favorite thing to do, and so I just want to get it done. So we'll come back right after I get that sorted. All right, so got the plumbing done. Hot was super easy, just from there right to there, straight shot, exactly like pretty much 12-inch piece on the spot. Gas is tightened up. Electrical's hooked up except for the remote because I haven't swapped out the remote yet. This is a little tighter than I would like. I might extend those out a little later. The cold was no fun. Just crimping those, putting those clamps on back here was super challenging. That bottom one on that elbow is it's good. I'm pretty sure. We'll test it. It's fully on the fitting, just the tube isn't all the way seated, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. I might have to redo that. So we'll see how it does this trip. I'll probably bring the clamp tool and pliers and stuff with me to fix it if it starts leaking. So we're good there. All I have to do now is get this thing off the wall, hook it up, and test it out. Okay, so got the controller off. Not the way I wanted. I tried to pry this thing apart. It would not budge. Turns out the screws are only in like that far. So it kind of just fell out. Didn't do, I mean, what's interesting is, like, I think these are the factory pre-drilled holes, and whoever installed it decided they liked these to make new holes down here better. I don't know, maybe. I hope the new one covers that. If not, no big deal. Nice thing is I already have the wires up here. They lead down to there. So we're just gonna trim off the wires that come with the new controller and put it in there. And while I'm on the subject, let me grab the new controller and show you one change that I made that I wasn't, because I want this controller to flush mount to the wall, and the way it comes is with the wire sticking out. Factory, when you get this out of the box, the wire sticks out through one of these two holes in the bottom, and they give you this remote, or they give you this little cradle. Get out of there. So you're supposed to install this on the wall, and then whenever you're done with your wired remote, put it in through there, and of course the wire, when it's like that, comes out the bottom. All I did was pop this apart, which there's a button right there. Right there. You press that in, it pops apart, and then you can run the wire right out the back. There is a little grommet right here that I believe is meant for the wiring to pass through. Like, it's just about perfect. So that was in there. I just popped it out to make it easy on myself. But once I cut these ends off, because I'm going to be putting it on the Wagos anyway, I'll try to thread it through that and make it more of a watertight seal. And then the wire will obviously go through the hole in the wall and not hang down at the bottom of the controller. So that'll look a little nicer. I'm not going to use that cradle thing. I'm just going to sticky tape this right on there. So that's what we're doing right now. Hope it covers those holes. So I wanted to give you a quick look at the wire here. This is a mess. It's the two leads you can get out of there, and then it has all these little, it's almost like a coax cable, all these little tiny wires all stranded around. It's like shielding, and then it's got, this is just the case. So I cut this off because I'm going to put the two Wagos on there, but man, that's messy. I don't really like it. Just trying to sort all this junk out so I can hook those two up and get on with this. But it's like, this thing is just, I don't know, maybe you want to tuck the 4 feet of wire in the wall when you do it, but I don't know. I just wanted it a little bit shorter. So that's what I get. We'll keep going. Alright, so was able to get that cleaned up, cut all that junk off. Now I've just got the two leads, the main wire, and I was able to get it through that grommet. And it's all snapped in there nice. So the idea is it will go through that hole in the wall there. Go like that. It's really close to covering up those holes. Like, you really have to look. So I don't know why they give you that remote caddy thing. It's like, who's ever gonna just like lift this up and walk with it? I have no idea. Maybe there's a use case I can't think of. So we'll finally get this wired up and give it a test run. Okay, we are done. Got everything hooked up. I threw some zip ties around these leads just because they're tight and I didn't want the tension on the Wagos. So zip tie kind of holds the tension. Everything's good. I have tested it. That is not leaking, thankfully, but I still may grab some clamps. Coming up to the remote, got that installed. Used the double-sided sticky tape Velcro. So this is actually Velcroed on here, just like the thermostat in prior videos, which is nice because you can just pull it off if you need to and stick it back up there for whatever reason, and you're not putting new holes in. For the most part, it covers up the holes. I decided to come proud this way a little bit, so if you really look around that side, you can see them. May not even show up on camera the way the shadow is. So basically, you'll never see them. You really have to look around to find them. So, and I like having the wire not coming out the bottom of here. It's much more professional looking installation. So, yeah. Go ahead and test. I did purge the, there we go, 111, 113, 102, 98, interesting. But this is already warm. Little tiny bit of cold right there. I don't even know what it's set at. 123. Oh yeah, that's warm. Let's see how well it mixes if it stays on. Yep. Mixing it stays on too. Yep. That's nice. The Girard would have shut off by now with that. Any like mixing in the Girard would have shut off. I think it just shut off there. Maybe too much. I don't know. Take some getting used to, but hopefully we see an improvement. But hey, this one's not leaking, so that's what we need for our trip. We'll call this one a wrap. Unexpected upgrade, but sometimes that's how things go. I probably could have looked into fixing the Girard, but why bother? Let's just upgrade it while we're at it. So we'll be off, and I'll let you know if we have any troubles with it. Thanks for watching. Take care.